Fueling the lie. What happens when a state oil company, meant to power a nation, decides to power offshore accounts instead? Indonesia's Pertamina just dropped the mic with one of the biggest fuel frauds ever recorded. Reuters reports $17 billion in state losses. Gone. Like a luxury yacht in the Java Sea. The playbook? Tampered fuel, phantom tankers, and a web of subsidiaries that all forgot how accounting works. Tempo magazine traced it from Jakarta to Singapore to Europe, while the Attorney General's office scrambled to explain why no one noticed earlier. Answer: they probably noticed. As Bloomberg Asia put it, this was not petty theft. This was elite industrial-scale looting with PowerPoint decks. So how does a company bleed billions while still handing out performance bonuses? Welcome to Hidden Dirt. Buckle up, this fuel trail's on fire. The billion-dollar shell game. It started with a whisper. Some numbers didn't add up, a few deliveries went missing, and someone noticed fuel was, well, acting weird. But when Tempo magazine got hold of internal logs in early 2025, things went from weird to oh no, real fast. $17 billion in losses, and not monopoly money, real taxpayer cash, vanishing into what Reuters politely called systematic irregularities. Here's the short version. Pertamina had been quietly diluting government-subsidized fuel, taking the cheap stuff, Pertalite, mixing it with the expensive stuff, Pertamax, and charging everyone like it was liquid gold. Because, why not? Indonesia Business Post later confirmed that executives were also exporting high-grade domestic fuel while importing the cheaper stuff back in. It's like selling your wedding ring and then buying a plastic replica at triple the price. And guess what? They weren't even subtle. The web included shell companies like PT Mahameru Kencana Abadi, shady rerouting via Orbit Terminal Merak, and deals allegedly steered by none other than Mohammad Riza Khalid, Jakarta's favorite oil shadow boss. According to Eurasia Business News, this guy didn't just appear in the paperwork. He wrote half of it. Among the arrested, Riva Siahan, CEO of Pertamina Patra Niaga, Yoki Fernandi, head of international shipping, and others who suddenly forgot how signatures work. By July, Bloomberg Asia confirmed a total of 18 suspects, with a growing paper trail reaching Singapore, the Netherlands, and a few very expensive lawyers' offices. Because when you steal $17 billion, you don't hire a public defender. The empire behind the empire. To really appreciate this $17 billion magic trick, you need to meet the magician. Founded in 1957, Pertamina was supposed to be the people's oil company. As the diplomat once put it, it's a symbol of national pride, the kind that prints slogans like "Energy for the Nation" right next to record-breaking profit leaks. Back in the 70s, under President Suharto, Pertamina wasn't just a company. It was a royal ATM. By 1975, the company had racked up $10 billion in debt, a number so big, even the IMF choked. But instead of reforming it, the regime just slapped on a new logo and called it modernization. According to a 2022 Jakarta Post retrospective, every CEO since then has promised structural reform. Translation: move the chairs, rename the department, and keep the gravy train rolling. And don't forget the Anti-Corruption Agency, KPK. You know, the one that keeps trying to do its job until someone cuts its funding by 40%. Yes, really. The Diplomat reported that in 2024. So when Transparency International ranked Indonesia's state-owned enterprises among the world's most vulnerable to structural abuse, nobody blinked. Because let's face it, when the fox owns the henhouse, nobody files complaints. The Oil Mafia Unmasked. By February 2025, the Indonesian Attorney General's office had seen enough spreadsheets to trigger a migraine. What started as unusual invoices turned into a $17 billion oil opera, complete with fake shipping logs, dummy companies, and actors pretending to be executives. According to Tempo magazine, auditors stumbled on multiple layers of fraud. Not a glitch, but a system. Reuters reported the game plan. Import low-quality fuel at high prices. Dilute state-subsidized fuel. Sell it like it's champagne. Export premium local fuel and hope no one asks where it went. And if that wasn't bold enough, Indonesia Business Post revealed the deals were routed through firms like PT Mahameru Kencana Abadi, using terminals like Orbit Terminal Merak, which just happens to be owned by Mohammad Riza Khalid, also also known as the Oil Whisperer, or Jakarta's Teflon Don. And this cast isn't short on characters. Raiva Siahan, CEO of Pertamina Patra Niaga, Yoki Fernandi, logistics master of Vanishing Fuel, Sani Dinar Saifuddin, who apparently thought compliance was a coffee brand. By March, Eurasia Business News traced offshore routing schemes tied to Singapore and the Netherlands. Because if you're going to commit billion-dollar fraud, it helps to do it from somewhere with good brunch. Then came the headline splash. Bloomberg Asia confirmed 18 suspects in total. A full-blown oil mafia. The only thing missing? A Netflix deal. But here's the best part. They didn't even try to hide it. As one Jakarta Globe editorial put it, this wasn't covert. It was corporate theater with terrible lighting. System built to leak. Let's be clear. This wasn't just a one-off. This was an ecosystem. A beautifully dysfunctional machine designed to transfer wealth from taxpayers to teakwood boardrooms, with minimal paperwork and maximum applause. CSIS Indonesia notes that state-owned enterprises, or BUMNs, control over $200 billion in national assets. That's a lot of trust placed in people who often can't explain where the last billion went. At the center of it all, Pertamina, the crown jewel of state capitalism. Except, as Transparency International explained, it's less a jewel and more a glittery paperweight full of kickbacks and cousins. And who's keeping them honest? Ah, yes, KPK, Indonesia's anti-corruption agency. They used to have teeth. Then the Diplomat reported that their budget got slashed by 40%, their powers trimmed, and their best investigators reassigned to rebranding initiatives. It's no wonder that by 2024, as Bloomberg sarcastically noted, oversight in Indonesian SOEs became more of a theoretical construct, like unicorns or fully audited shipping manifests. But this isn't just Indonesia. From PDVSA in Venezuela to Petrobras in Brazil to Nigeria's NNPC, the same formula applies. Monopoly, political protection, zero transparency, sudden yachts. As Transparency International's 2023 report politely put it, resource-rich state firms often face structural risks. Translation? They steal a lot. Pertamina didn't break the system. It followed the blueprint, line by golden line. Justice or just optics. By July 2025, it was official. 18 suspects, 285 trillion rupiah loss, and a courtroom full of very nervous suits suddenly not remembering how anything worked. As Indonesia Business Post gleefully reported, Attorney General St. Burhanuddin announced that, yes, he might seek the death penalty. Not for murder, not for terrorism, but for financial crime. Which, to be fair, this one kind of qualifies. But let's be honest, this wasn't about justice. This was a PR fireworks show. As the Jakarta Globe noted, most of the suspects came prepared. Elite lawyers, pre-written statements, and memory lapses so severe you'd think they inhaled petroleum fumes for a living. Bloomberg Asia confirmed that Mohammed Riza Khalid, the man behind the ghost terminals, strongly denied wrongdoing, with a straight face and probably a Swiss lawyer on speed dial. Meanwhile, Pertamina went into full panic polish mode. Reuters covered their shiny new transparency roadmap with whistleblower portals, compliance hotlines, and, get this, a culture reset team. Because nothing says accountability like a laminated checklist and a PowerPoint. Compass TV pointed out the irony. The previous reform task force disbanded quietly in 2021. Turns out, reform doesn't mix well with bonus season. And the public, they didn't buy it. Hashtags like Pertamina Mafia, Minyak Rakyat Dicuri, and Bakar BBM started trending faster than their fuel prices. People boycotted gas stations, turned to Shell, BP even, bicycles. And Trafigura, the Swiss trader linked to the scandal, they declined to comment. Of course they did, because in scandals this big, silence isn't guilt, it's standard operating procedure. The real price of stolen oil, $17 billion. That's not a typo. That's what went missing. According to Reuters, Bloomberg Asia, and Indonesia's own Attorney General. Gone. Like trust. Like affordable fuel. Like any hope that this was just a misunderstanding. According to Tempo magazine, the scale of the fraud could have funded 2,000 schools, built 600 hospitals, or, get this, provided fuel subsidies for every Indonesian family for a decade. Instead, we got press releases, reform brochures, and a reform task force that lasted shorter than most TikToks. And let's talk consequences. consequences. Compass TV revealed that not a single Pertamina board member was fired, just rotated. Because in Indonesia's elite circles, accountability is just another kind of leave policy. Khalid lawyered up, the KPK defunded, the fuel still overpriced, and the executives probably planning their memoir titles. As the diplomat cynically noted, when oversight dies quietly, corruption thrives loudly. But this isn't just Indonesia's tragedy. This is the world's story of oil, power, and selective blindness. From Nigeria to Brazil to now Southeast Asia, the names change. The outcome doesn't. So let's ask the only question that really matters. Should executives who steal billions face prison? Or, as some in Jakarta suggest, firing squads? We'll let the comment section decide. Drop clean the system if you're done with this theater. Subscribe if you want real stories, not press releases. And don't blink, because next time we're diving into a scandal that'll make this look like amateur hour.